All right, check it out, dudes. We're going to do radical monomials. They are radical. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to look at perfect squares. So check this out, man. For perfect squares, I'm going to look at x's, and I'm going to square them. So ready? 1 squared is 1. 2 squared is 2. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 5, my head's in the way. So let's move it. 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 6 is 36. 7 and 7, 49. 8 and 8, ooh, 8 times 8. I shouldn't say and, I should say times. 8 times 8 is 64. 9 times 9 is 81. 10 times 10 is 100. You know what you should do right now? You should pause that video, write this down. So here's the idea. For numbers that are in the chart, you just write the answer. Basically, you see this little symbol here, this radical dude is called a square root. Basically, when you see these lines together, you're like, I would think of two numbers, and they must be the same. And when I multiply them together, they got to equal what's inside of there. That is what a square root does. Again, I must think of two numbers, if it's a number, and when I multiply them together, they got to equal what's inside of there. So the square root of 49, check it out. Square root of 49, well, 49 would be 7 times 7. So there you go. There's your 2 sevens under the square root. So in this case, we would say the square root of 49 is just 7. And there's your answer. And I cannot keep up this surfer accent the whole video. So I'm going to go back to the way I normally talk. Fun little fact, I'm from Hawaii. I'll leave it at that. Square root of 49. So the square root of 49 is just 7, because you saw it's 7 times 7. And I got a pair under a square root, so that's why the answer would be 7. A square root asks you to go backwards. The opposite of squaring would be square rooting. The square root of 16 would be 4, because we know 16 is 4 times 4, and there's your answer. But you and I both know it's not going to just stay with those. If the number is not perfect, it's not everything is perfect. See if there's a perfect square that goes into it. Meaning, square root of 50, when I say goes into it, I mean is a factor of it. How can I go ahead and rewrite 50 so it's going to have one of these times a number? 50, you might think of, is 5 times 10. That's not on the chart. I don't see a 5 or a 10 on the square side. 10, though, is 5 times 2. So there you go. I've got a pair. I've got a pair under a square root. If anything, if you thought of 25 times 2, that would have been best, but it's not absolutely needed. You just need to make sure you have 2 of a kind. So 5 times 5 is 25, and the square root of 25 would be 5 on the outside, and you'd have a square root of 2 left over. So that's how you simplify a radical, specifically a square root. And again, you've done this before where not everything works out perfectly. Fractions are an example where you simplify, but you might still have a fraction overall. Square root of 18, ready? How would I write that out? I'd say 9 times 2. And if you got that, awesome. You know 9 is a perfect square. It's one of the numbers on this list. It's a perfect square, and that's why we wrote these in the first place. So the square root of 9 is 3. Again, this chart will help. The square root of 9 is 3. And you're left with a square root of 2 left over. And that's how you'll simplify a square root when it's not perfect.
Alright guys, enjoy the next video and pay close attention. You might even want to take notes because I'm going to ask you a question regarding this next video and you'll have to be able to answer it to get credit for your Algebra Nation. So pay close attention or take some notes on the next video.
Right here from Lake City, Florida, Hall of Fame. state. Welcome, welcome. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, Wayne, I'm a true Southern gentleman, and like all true Southern gentlemen, I have my mother here, and I love my mother. I'm glad she's here. Thank you, and I'm also a coach for Special Olympics.
Right on, right on. Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. So, by the fact that you're on the show, I'm gauging that you are a music fan.
Yes, I'm a big music fan.
Do you know enough about music to be able to walk away with that $1 million prize today, you think?
Absolutely.
That's what I like to hear. Let's see your category, sir. We have for you rock, easy listening, pop, one-hit wonders, R&B, going solo, Elton John, legends, and 1960s. Let's see what each one is worth, sir. We're going to start over here at $2,500. $2,500, and it gets bigger until it reaches $1 million. All that happens if you can give me the correct missing lyrics to 10 songs. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Which category would you like to try first?
Let's start with some R&B.
Some R&B. Yes. Here we go. A little Night Shift by the Commodores and Secret Lovers by Atlantic Star.
You know what? I want to go with some Night Shift.
Night Shift. Night Shift by the Commodores. The band's going to start playing. The words will come up. You're going to start singing. You're going to make these ladies scream and swoon. And then the music's going to stop. You're going to supply the correct missing lyrics. We are looking for 4 missing words. That's it. 4 words. Get your money. Go get your $2,500. Get that $2,500. Night Shift.
Marvin, he was a friend of mine, and he could sing a song. His heart in every line. Marvin, Marvin, sing of the joy and pain. He opened up our mind. I still can hear him say, "Oh, talk to me, so you can see what's going on. Oh, say you will sing your song forevermore, It's gonna be some sweet sounds coming down on the night shift."
Wow. You are not playing, man. Coming down on the Night Shift. Now, before you lock this in, you sound great. You sound like you knew it. But I've got to tell you, you have backups just in case. You have 1 backup singer, 2 words, and 3 lines. So, do you want to lock in your lyrics, or are you going to use a backup on your very first one out the gate? It is your choice. What do you think?
I am gonna lock in those lyrics.
Yes, sir. You're going to lock in the lyrics down on the Night Shift. Is it down on the Night Shift?
Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you can answer a question and come see Mr. Phillips to get credit. Bye.